The following game has no ESRB rating, nor is there any sort of listing for restrictive content found within the game. From what I have seen so far, it does contain some cartoonic and fantasy violence, as well as some explosions, but I've not seen blood nor any sort of specific death animations, although I will admit I haven't gotten all that far into the game as yet. So if I were to guess as to what its ESRB rating would have been, I would guess E10 plus. That means anyone under the age of 10 should not be watching this video. Although, as always, it is a guess and viewer discretion is always advised. You have been warned.
Greetings and salutations. I am Outlier, and I bid you welcome to this channel. Joining me today is, of course, my usual co-hosts, Snowball and Wolf. And today we're returning back to Space Crew. No, that's the other game that's made by these same people. Yes, I'm sure. Yes, I've played both of them. No, I'm not going to play both of them on this video, just the one. Because that's rather complex. I mean, I technically could, but there's no point. Well, I'm sure I could figure out a way to do that. I don't really see the point. A lot of the videos that I do just seem to be about one game. Plus, it's not like that they have much in common outside of developer. The premise of Space Crew is that you are in charge of well, they don't actually tell you what class of ship it is, but you're in charge of a spaceship under the command of the UED, I believe. Which I believe is short for United Earth Defense. And you're basically tasked with various missions, flying around various parts of the solar system, fighting off an alien race known as the Phasmids. At least I think that's how you pronounce it. I often don't pronounce things correctly. But if I'm pronouncing it incorrectly, I'll never know, so Phasmids it is. And so you do various missions, you earn various types of currency, or at least passive currency, actual coin, which is used to buy upgrades for your ship and crew, as well as research, which is a kind of currency, and it's used to unlock new pieces for your ship and new equipment for your crew. Also, that way your ship and crew have a chance of surviving even more dangerous, probably even more rewarding missions, as you fight, near as I can tell, a single ship war against the Phasmids to protect Earth from invasion. I say single ship because I haven't found any other ships, but well, yes, you can call fighters. And yes, one of the missions that I haven't done yet is Freighter Escort. But you don't really see other ships of the class that we pilot, so for all we know, we're the only one. That is also true, but if that's the case, I haven't seen it in game yet, and, well, I forgot what I was going to say. Moot point. This game is, of course, made by. Thank you again. And that being said, let us begin.
Okay, so first things first, I should point out that I have played a few missions in between episodes, mostly because I found the game fun and I wanted to play more. So I haven't actually gotten around to completing missions I haven't already tried yet. It was basically just clear out, investigate Phasmid activity, clear out Phasmid forces, rescue astronomer Jill Scott again, because apparently she likes getting into trouble. Haven't really gotten much into training or extra gear. They have all gone up in level, so now everybody's level 5, including Lopez, who uh, joined the crew later, although she's not as far along to level 6 as the others. I believe I have unlocked some extra crew gear, but I kind of like what they currently have, so I haven't bothered switching them out. I have, however, upgraded the spacecraft a little bit. Oh, it's UDF, not UD. That's a different game. Most notably, I switched out the weapons from being just autocannons or plasma cannons to the autocannon and plasma cannon combo one. So it's still Mark 1 as opposed to having access to the Mark 2 ones, but it allows me to switch out between plasma cannons and autocannons as the need arises. So if I need an extra unit of power somewhere else, I can always switch all the guns to autocannons and just cut power from weapons. Conversely, if I come across something that's heavily shielded against the uh, starboard or port flanks, I can just simply switch all the guns to plasma turrets and watch as they cut through. Also, I finally got around to arming the vessel. I did get to armor standard plating Mark II. My original plan was the Mark I, but as I was playing in between episodes, I got enough resources to unlock the Mark II, and I figured rather than spending money on the Mark I and then the Mark II, which is, well, was, I believe, half the cost of the Mark II plating, I just figured it'd be easier just to upgrade directly to the Mark II. So there's that. Did I upgrade anything else? I don't remember. Oh, I also upgraded the shield generator to Mark II. Don't know if I did that in stream or not. As well as the med bay. I do have access to other reactors, most notably the efficient reactor, which lessens armor and gives me, well, practically twice the amount of power. Or I can go armored, which just simply armors the reactor, making it more durable, but I don't have the funds for either of those. So it's still the basic power reactor. I don't have access to new gravity generator or O2 generator, and I already mentioned I upgraded the medical bay. Well, I haven't actually changed the engines around yet. I do have access to low emissions engines, which isn't as heavily armored and flies about as fast, but from the description, if they take a hit and start leaking radiation, the radiation emissions won't be as much as, say, the basic engines or even the agile engines, which trades armor for increased speed, but apparently if they get hit, they start venting a large amount of radiation into the ship. I've not gotten access to the escape pods. I've also not bothered firing anybody out of the escape pods. Thankfully, the ship hasn't gotten into that much trouble. I've actually had to jettison people off. And I don't think there's any new equipment to be had. It's just the standard 2 spacesuits in the cargo bay. Or, yeah, I think this is the cargo bay. It's just 2 spacesuits in the cargo bay, spacesuit and fire extinguisher by each of the outer doors to the engines, fire extinguisher and medkit in the engineering room, medkit and phase rifle just off the bridge, and then a fire extinguisher and a phase rifle and a medkit and phase rifle in the bridges themselves. And the outer coating of paint is unchanged. So that's basically as far as I've gotten so far. No one's died, so I've not need to get any extra crew aside from the extra weapons officer. So on that note,
No, the video isn't over yet. We're just beginning.
let's go on to missions. So we have various missions. We have a high risk mission where we recover a comms probe. I'm guessing this advances the storyline a little bit. It looks like we jump to say here if the map ever comes back, and then we have a choice of two different access ways. Generally a fast but dangerous way, or a slightly safer but longer route. And this is a high risk mission. I'll probably take this when I have access to the better multi-cannon modules. We also can investigate Phasmid activity. It's a medium rank mission, which requires us to investigate reports of Phasmid activity near the Kyber Belt. Make. I was unaware they named sections of the Kyber Belt. Clear out any hostile force in the area. So we're not just investigating Phasmid activity, we're actively taking them out. We can also clear out enemy forces. So we've detected what could be a cluster of invaders near Uranus. Sector must be cleared out. This is no laughing matter. That's a mission from last video I haven't tried. There's also transport supplies. It's a mission that I have tried, but that was before I started making videos of this game. So I haven't technically done this mission yet on this playthrough. So we basically need to transport supplies to a mining outpost off here. Don't actually remember which planet that is. And then we just have to simply go to a place, clear out Phasmid forces. So, since we haven't done the transport supply mission in video yet, let's actually go with that one. It's a nice, easy, low-risk mission, so we shouldn't have too many problems. So we received classified information that the enemy champion, Vorb Kib, has been active in the mission area. Proceed with caution. Oh yes, I actually forgot. The first champion we came across, Heman Cap, the dude in the fighter. We actually killed him in between episodes. Don't feel bad about missing it. I didn't see it either. So there's that. But I checked the bounty board, and apparently there's two new champions that we may run across. So we'll see if we find them. Meantime, launch the outhouse.
No, I'm not saying flush the outhouse to launch the mission. Yeah, I know what. I can't win with these people.
Anywho. Alright, so we have two routes to choose from. We can jump directly to the fastest route, which is to Asteroid Belt Alpha, or we can take the safe route, which jumps us to the moon and then probably Asteroid Belt. I've been having issues with Phasmids recently, boarding and attacking and practically destroying the ship. So let us go with the safe route for, well, now.
Okay, so we're at the jump point. We charge the drives. And engage. Alright, so in orbit of the moon, so looks like we go from there to Venus.
And we got enemies incoming. And they're here. We forgot to switch the side guns to autocannons. Yep. Targets have been marked. Go at them. Go defensive. Cut powder the grav generator and put it into shields. Also, start evading. That looks like 2 down, or just 1 down. Oh, gunships. Yeah, I probably should have the gunners focus their fire. Should also probably put the security officer in the bow turret. That's the engineer, the security officer. Man the forward gun. I should have had him do that before I cut grabbed it. Anybody else? No? Okay. Let's get to Venus before more people show up. Don't think anybody's injured. Alright, hyperdrive is charged. Let's go. Here we are at Venus. So we go to Asteroid Belt Series. Right, so we got enemies incoming, man the forward gun, cut gravity, put it into shields, and let's be ready for incoming. Speaking of incoming, targets are marked. And I would say we got borders, but that's not a border. Switch the autocannon so that way you have a better chance of actually killing him quickly. That's the second gunship down, and we got more unmarked targets. Go defensive. Coming in sunside, so hard to see. Invasive patterns. The grab generator requires repair. Oh goody. I would say I do like how the shields seem to not fail completely, but looks like we have taken some hits. Not as many as we used to, but still. So we did tag that one, right? Because it just flew under the ship and no one decided to open fire. So the shield's down, so we'll switch the autocannon. Okay, repair the grav generator. And head to the objective. One of these days I'll invest in a power generator that is still relatively armored comparatively, but has enough power so that way I don't have to keep cutting gravity every time I need more power somewhere else. Alright, charge the drive. Next jump should be the target area, I believe. I believe the fast route was 2 jumps, and the safe route is always 1 jump more than, at least for now, 1 jump more than the fast route. Okay, so let's cut the gravity and put it into engines because we're about to enter an asteroid field. And we got targets. Looks like more gunships. I swore I saw an alert somewhere. Fighters inbound. I lost forward and ventral shielding. I'm guessing it's because we smacked into the asteroids. I also lost aft shielding as well. Of course, I have them focused fire as everybody gets taken out, and then I tag all these guys, so there's actually more enemies here. Okay, we're losing shields, so get back to security real quick and replenish the shields. Get back on the main gun, on the forward gun. Just in time to have everybody get taken out. Okay. Okay, so Patrick Mulgrew, captain of the station destroyer, or at least the guy in charge, seems to think that's the last of them and wants us to dock to offload supplies. Which we will. Also fix the generator, and you go heal. You go heal. I guess we didn't select the right thing. Then the comms officer goes to heal. Alright, and supplies are off. Nobody's manning the tractor beam, so I'm guessing that's on their end. So cargo is secure. Thanks for prompt delivery, Captain. Have a safe journey home. I hope so. Let's relaunch. Alright, so again, we can either take the safe route or the fast route. We took the safe route too, so let's take the fast route back. Also, give more power to the engines so that way greater chance of evading the asteroids. And we're through the asteroid, so we can no longer have extra power to the engines. Now, I'm kind of surprised that the tractor beam doesn't have any extra power allotment to it, but I have to remember, outside of mission-specific things, you don't really use the tractor beam for anything, at least not yet. And we're ready to charge, so off to the asteroid belt Alpha. We have enemy phasmid activity, and it looks like that the Vorb Kib, the next champion, is here. According to the briefing that I've seen, so for years we've come to your planet to probe you, you never returned our calls. That seems rather adult-related, and yeah, we're just going to evade, boost power to shields and weapons, have everybody focus their fire. Oh, and almost forgot. Call in some fighter support, too. Also, tag it. There's the, champion. And we're actually losing shields. Defensive. Somebody just died. And we're now experiencing a fire, so get the generator gravity back online, extinguish the fire, and we're experiencing borders. Fighters are gone. We now have more targets to attack. Void Kib is still here, as is a whole bunch of enemies. The shield's back online. Get me more shield power. Not boosted. Okay. So it looks like Warp Kib escaped with, well, out my knowledge. I'm perfectly fine with that. We got plenty of other units to deal with. Now, I do like the fact that the aft gun is set above the ship, so that way it targets anything above the ship, and the bow gun set underneath to cover the ventral side. Okay, so that should be everybody, so let's put the gravity back on. And let's get out of here. Where is Athena Station? On the other side of the asteroid field, okay. Alright, let's get everybody who's injured healing in case more people show up. get the shields back online. Looks like everybody's injured, actually. And again, we were heavily outnumbered that fight, and constantly surrounded, so my crew performed admirably. Everybody's still alive. The ship is relatively in one piece. Doesn't look like we have any sections significantly damaged. Everything's green. So, charge for jump and head home. And here we are. Now, I'm tempted to have somebody get an escape pod. I'm just curious to see what happens. Looks like that they are 100% chance of being recovered, but I don't want to risk it still. So, we managed to transport the supplies. Vorb Kib lives to fight another day, and the outhouse has returned. Everybody is still not dead, so that's always a good thing. And we now get Gravity Boots Mark 1, which these weighty, bulky boots allow the wearer to walk normally even when the ship's gravity as the system is disabled. That actually could come in handy. As with the Phase Pistol, which is a holster containing a Phase Pistol which can be used in self-defense against enemies on board the ship. And then Radiation Shielded Gloves protect against radiation. Alright, so Phasma Champion Vorb Kib has been encountered by us, and we took him out. Oh, and morale is high because we've completed more UDF missions. And it was Hupin Grant that was defeated by us. Vorb Kib is still at large. And also, if we do a quick check of the bounty board, we can rescue Jill Scott again. But in addition to Vorb Kib, we also have Valadu Apakut. He pilots a hacking craft, which uses an advanced interference beam to directly disable ship systems. It's thought that the bounty has been studying radio signals coming from Earth for many decades. He apparently has a very high threat level, as does Vorb Kib. So let's not. Well, as did Hupin Grant, and he's dead. So. Oh, we also have the ability to eliminate the champion Vorb Kib. So now that we know of him, we can actually go hunting him ourselves. Maybe once I get better guns. Until then, let us look at crew gear. So we do custom loadout and look at the gravity boots. Yeah, so we currently have the armor boots equipped that give us 5 armor, but lowers our walking speed by 20 units. I guess it makes it 20% slower, I don't actually know. Whereas if we swap to the gravity boots, we lose the armor, we're just as slow, but we're still able to walk even if the gravity is offline. Given the fact that I turn the gravity off whenever we go into combat because I need the power elsewhere, I'm actually thinking it's a good idea to equip everybody with the grav boots. That way they can still walk around normally, to put out fires, defend the ship against hostile boarders, all that fun stuff. Of course, if the gravity's off, the enemies not equipped with gravity boots will have to float around, whilst we can just walk around and pick them off. So it looks like we have some new equipment in the revive tool. Well, we will have it once we get research up high enough, which is a holster which improves the speed of reviving crew when using a medical kit. Revived crew will be in better health after being revived too. Then we also have a personal cloak, which is equipped with a personal cloak. Crew members will be less easily spotted by enemies on board the ship. There's only so many places on the ship to begin with, and I assure you, if enemy boarders are on the ship, I want my people shooting them, not hiding. So we actually have enough money to equip the phase pistol to everybody. Although I'm sure that actually, that equips him with a phase pistol. But I want him to have the engineering tool, because he's the engineer and he fixes things. So there's that. Also, everybody gets, well, could get access to radiation gloves, but I don't have enough money to actually equip that to everybody. Not quite certain what the light gloves actually do, other than just being a glove people can wear. Now, it looks like it gives a small amount of armor. Whereas the heavy gloves give more, but again, not enough coin to actually do anything. Alright, so they haven't gotten to level 6 yet, so they don't have sub-jobs or secondary jobs. And I don't have any more money to continue outfitting the ship, but I don't believe I actually got any new parts, so moving on to the next mission. So, we can eliminate the champion, recover a comms probe. Again, I don't want to do anything high risk until I get better guns, which I need how much research to get? I mean, technically, I do have access to Mark II autocannon and plasma cannon, but I don't have the option yet to get the Mark II where they're interchangeable. And it looks like I still need 1,250 research to unlock this one. So for right now, let's actually investigate phasmid activity. It is a medium risk mission, but the other option is just to clear out enemy forces, which has more jump points, which probably means more chances to get taken out, or rescue Jill Scott again. So an observation outpost located near Saturn's moon, Prometheus, has come under attack. One of the outpost's crew has escaped. Professor Scott is the leader in her field. She must be rescued before the outpost is destroyed. This would be the third time I've rescued Miss Scott from, or Ms. Scott, I should say. It would be the third time I rescued Ms. Scott from the same outpost outside Saturn. So if this is the third time she's had to blow up an outpost, I would think that they should design a better outpost. So let's go investigate activity. Alright, so first thing, we do pre-launch. We switch the side guns to autocannons. Let's actually cut gravity right off the bat and just plop it into shields. And we launch. And then just to test out the grav boots. Yeah. Gravity's out, but they can still walk normally. Goody. Off we go to the moon. I'm sorry, not the moon. We hit the corona. Well, we don't hit the corona. We jump near the sun's corona. Normally, it'd be perfectly fine just hanging out in the sun's corona, but this isn't Elite Dangerous, so let's just move on to the asteroid belt. We do have enemies inbound, though. We got targets. Focus fire the ship. We lost dorsal shielding. We got more targets. And I should probably have somebody on the bow gun. Probably also switch the bow gun to the autocannon because it looked like that his shields were gone, but he just blew up, so moot point. Nope, more targets. Go defensive. Oh, gunship. Alright, switch all cannons to autocannon. Cut powder and weapons and put it to shields and fix the generator. Alright, sky is clear. Let's move on to the actual objective. And fix the grav generator while at it, just in case so that way it doesn't spark and explode. It looks like the engineer took some hits, so we'll have him heal. Charge the drive. And we jump. Okay, so we now have to worry about asteroids, so I put, as you just saw, I just put power into... I was going to say the engines, but no, I just put it back into weapons and switched it to default cannons. So basically, yeah, it's just evasiveness, so... Now we just hang out here until enemies show up. I don't think we actually need to enter the asteroid belt, so we probably don't need to worry about that. Go back to defensive. Everybody focus their fire. And looks like we got more targets. Looks like a boarding ball. Switch to the autocannon. And you're dead. More inbound targets. Begin invasive piloting and call in some fighters. These guys aren't the only ones who have friends. Boost the reactor and get me more power to shields and oh, look, the cavalry's here. Goody. We good? We good? Let's head home. I would say back to base, but no, we gotta go to the Corona first. What's this? Fragment of it. There's a fragment of a damaged phasmid weapon tech near your position. Bring it back for researchers would be pleased. I thought that's what we were doing. Engines currently have no power. What do the engines have no power? That was weird. The boost probably kicked out and it took all the power from the engines as opposed to the shields. Okay. Alright, so it's quiet for now. I'm going to take this opportunity to heal some of the gunners. And get on the tractor beam. Because we got enemies inbound. That is a very big weapons fragment. So it looks like the Phasmatech is a bit of a fire risk, so only be a good find to our researchers. If the risk is too great, then leave it behind. Alright, so we have enemies now inbound. Well, my plan was to get stealth mode and punish the shields, and that's now on fire, so get on the bow gun, go defensive, go evasive, extinguish the fire. Everybody start focusing their fire. Got new targets that aren't tagged. Now they are. They really apparently do not want us to have this fragment. Restore the... I'll go back to extinguishing the fire. Just yet. And we have more targets. And we now have borders. Probably shouldn't vent because that would probably... Both of you attack the enemy. You know, I think the fire actually injured the borders. So again, we're just going to extinguish that again. And get back on your stations. Alright, so we good now? And the fragment's back on fire again. Alright, so I have the security officer heal now. Did we lose power to engines again? Yeah, no, actually no. We still have power to engines. We do have more contacts, though. Wrong one. Thought I was still on the engineer. Let me fix the shields real quick. And extinguish the fire again. Let's get back to Earth before we have any more, let's call it issues. Let's charge and get out of here. And we're back. Athena Station. Get back on fire duty. Man, I'm glad the fire extinguishers are more than single use. Fairly certain this thing has caught on fire more than 4 times. But it's a moot point because we're now back at the station. Okay, so Phasma forces have been defeated. We did manage to get the Phasma tech back for 1,250 research, and actually killing that, and taking out all the Phasma forces netted us an extra 500. And the outhouse has returned once again. And everybody has gotten to level 6, even Lopez, who is technically a mission behind everybody else. So, not only did the captain get a fast jump charge, which drastically increases the speed of charging for hyper jump while enemies are present, and the comm officer get performance analysis, which analyzes the performance of the crew, increasing XP gain for a short duration. And the security officer gains shield overdrive, which temporarily increases the effectiveness of the ship's shields, will cause the shield generator to leak radiation for some time afterward. Not so certain how I feel about that one. But in addition to all these skills, everybody's now at 6, so they now have access to a secondary skill slot. So they can actually take on a second job. And they also get access to the lightly armored suit 2, which improves armor, which is a slightly improved armored suit. It provides adequate protection without restricting the wear too much. They also get the environmental mask, which is a full-face environmental mask. Protects the wearer from radiation somewhat, contains a small personal oxygen supply. They also get access to both the high capacity and fast charge shield generators, which I would assume the high capacity increases, has very strong shields but a slower recharge rate, whereas the fast recharger has smaller shield strength but regenerates faster. Then we also get the Plasma/Autocannon Hybrid Mark II, which has both a Mark II Plasma Cannon and a Mark II Autocannon. So, of all the guns, that's the one I was looking for the most. So if we look at Kruger, I also have 2,150 credits to spend. So, and all the shiny new upgrades. So if we look at custom loadouts, Mark II is, actually can equip that to everybody. It's only going to be 525 total. Looks like it does net them a little bit more armor, but doesn't slow them down at all. So let's actually equip that to everybody. There's the helmet. You see, I actually want them to have armor, although I am fine with an O2, with everybody having an O2 supply. But I'd rather have them have helmets. Of course, upgrading the armor for everybody all at once changed the color of everybody's outfit. So, guess what we get to do real quick?
No, we are not ordering snacks.
We're changing everybody's color back to, well, what I assume everybody was originally. At least the color that I had them on beforehand. It's basically go down in each position. It just gets the next color on the list. So that should be everybody at the same color. So I think that's all the new shiny gear I had access to. So on top of that, since everybody is now level 6, everybody gets more training. So now that everybody is at level 6, they can learn a secondary skill, which basically allows them to effectively have 2 different jobs. So while they'll start at level 1 for their secondary job, they'll still gain the same skills as if it was their primary job. So the obvious one is, because Jay Owira here is always manning the bow gun, is I'm having the security officer also double as a weapons officer. It looks like we can also remove the skill in case I wanted it to change. So that's the one I know of for the fact, and in case I need somebody on the guns, we'll have the comm officer also double as the security officer, so that way I can just have Flores here hop onto the security station if I need somebody to replenish the shields with all 4 gun batteries going, or if I just need to vent the ship of boarders. Now, I'm not certain exactly what extra skills I want the engineer to handle. That's interesting. The only secondary skills I can select are comm officer, security officer, or weapons officer. I can't actually have somebody become a secondary pilot. Also, there's no first aid skill, well, medical skill or anything like that, like there was in Bomber Crew. So, other than those 2, I'm actually not quite certain which skills I want everybody else to learn. If I have somebody doubling as a if I have the comms officer doubling as a security officer and security officer doubling as a weapons officer, I should probably have somebody double as a comms officer. So we'll have the engineer do that in case I need to get somebody on the radio, even if, well, the Flores is busy. So Leon will also double as a comms officer. And I'm not quite certain what I want the weapons officers to do, so what I will do is, rather than just giving them the same secondary skill, each one will learn a different one. So we'll just go down the list and have Sep here become a comms officer. We'll have Yildiz, who's actually in the back on the back gun, so we'll have her become the engineer, because comms and security is on the other side of the ship, so if she's the engineer, she can just fix things without having to walk all the way across for a secondary job, which means Lopez here becomes the secondary security officer. Now, I'm not quite certain exactly what secondary skill I want the captain to have, just simply because she's piloting the ship and can't really leave, but I mean, I have 1 spare security, 1 spare comm. I guess the only thing I don't have a secondary skill of is engineer, so on the off chance everybody else is dead and no one's attacking the ship, I'll have the captain be able to fix things better. So those will be their secondary skills. And as for, wow, so the standard shield Mark II just gives me more shields, but it looks like it has the same recharge rate, whereas the high capacity shields gets me twice as much as the basic shields, but it only has 1/3 of the recharge rate. So I'll basically have twice the amount of shields to play with, but if they go down, and something tells me they will, they'll take 3 times as long to charge. So I would assume the security officer's replenish shield ability would be better for that. Whereas the fast charge shields nets me slightly 100 shield points less than the standard charge, but it recharges them over twice as fast. I think I'll actually stick with the basic one for right now. No reactor, no med bay, no oxygen generator. So there's all that. And if we look at the guns, so it cost 1,600 to upgrade to the Mark II cannons. So I can upgrade one. So I'm going to need 6,400 to upgrade all the guns. I mean, eliminating the champion will actually get me as all the coin that I need to upgrade the guns, but given the high-risk nature of the champion, something tells me I want the better guns to fight him. And the next highest paying mission is the medium risk mission to clear out enemy forces, or I can just simply rescue Jill Scott again for 250 coin less. Although clearing enemy forces does get me 1,500 research. Let's go rescue Jill Scott again. Just simply because it's an easy mission and I feel like it. Alright, so I can choose the safe route or the fast route. So let's actually go with the fast route, because we gotta get there before she does something stupid again. Set the weapons to default loadout, which is the bow and aft guns are plasma cannons, and the port and starboard guns are autocannons. Because that's what it was set to default when I first started playing, and that's what I feel like having it set to. Okay, so charge the drive. And engage. Alright, so we have increased enemy activity. You're the pilot, get back in your seat. So get back on the get on the bow gun. And what I'm going to do is switch all the weapons to autocannons, pull up the power from weapons, and put it into engines. So that way I still have increased shields, but I'm also slightly more evasive to help with avoiding asteroids. Now the autocannons don't do as much damage against shields, but for the fighters and gunships, I think the shields actually drop relatively quickly. Although don't exactly hold me to that. And once shields are down, they'll actually have an increased benefit against the damage to hull. There's the generator. Nope, not overdrive. Punch the shields. Cancel overdrive. Actually hit the wrong button on that. Is there anybody I haven't tagged yet? Does not look like it. Out of the asteroids, so now that's a boarding party. Alright, so forget I actually said anything. We got more enemy fighters inbound. We have hostile life forms, so attack enemies. Everybody attack the enemies. I must say, I do like the fact that my guys can walk around like it's normal gravity, because I apparently can talk easily. And while the enemies are just floating about because gravity's on. so I think we got everybody who's tagged. So, Flores, get back on comms. Be absolutely certain we're around. And the forward gun, and let's get to the actual objective. Fix that. And we'll have the aft gunner heal. I was gonna say, we're suddenly flying backwards, but I think that asteroid's just simply left the belt area. Now we charge the drives. And we proceed. Alright, so Professor Scott tells us that this is her, and she's on the Prometheus outpost. She's the only surviving member of the crew, yet again, and she needs more assistance. Alright, so Professor Scott's now on board. We have one hot scientist on the ship. It probably is in certain circles, but you know what? This is the third time I'm saving her. If she can't take a little criticism... Yeah. I don't know where I want to go with that, but basically, if she doesn't like me calling her hot, then she shouldn't have been in distress 3 times like a crazy damsel. So the station's about to self-destruct, and we are charging. Is this a safe route? Yeah, this is a safe route. And let's get out before it starts raiding everything, which I think it just started to do. And we now have asteroids to deal with, so she can float around a bit, and let's get power to the weapons, so that way we have both for shields and engines. And let's go to Mars, because we now have enemies incoming. And we almost did not tag it. Well, I almost did not tag the enemies. That wasn't counterproductive for grand scheme. So he doesn't have access to focus fire yet. Let the others do. Let's go with the performance analysis real quick, just to see if we can get a boost in experience. And we are now experiencing borders, so prepare to repel borders. And they're dead, so get back to where I need you guys to go. Apparently I did not tag these guys. They're just going down on my ship and my gunners aren't shooting them. Well, they weren't shooting. Now they are. Just jump turret. Okay. So it jumps it from 15 to, well, a minute and change to... We have more borders again. Cancel hyperspace jump. Again, prepare to repel borders. I'd have the actual gunners fight off the borders, but they're currently repelling external threats. So the weapons officer and the security officer, it's kind of their job to protect the ship, and comms officer is really the only other person I can spare. And I guess I could have the engineer, but closest phase rifle's over there. Maybe next time I should have the engineer fight the borders. Alright, so now that it's quiet, it will no longer take 20 seconds at fast charging cycle to charge the ship, and let's go home. Oh, to Mars. It's Mars then home, I believe. Yep. Now, I was going to say access stealth mode and then do fast charging, but fast charging looks like it takes a while to recharge, so... I mean, it could go into stealth mode, but I don't think it'll last the full minute and 30 seconds it takes to charge in hostile enemies. Alright, let's call in some fighter support. What is causing the radiation? Oh, we have borders, okay. Will you attack the enemies? Repair the O2 system. Alright, we're going to need to go evasive and defensive. So everybody focus their fire. What are these things? Get on comms, and you man the gun. Apparently, I have quite a few targets we didn't tag. And the fighters are now returning to base. Why can't I go? There we are. Alright, so dorsal shields are out. Finish the shields. Fix that. Go back to evasive. Something big blew up. Alright, so let's get to Earth. Probably have my injured people heal, but we're close to the beacon. So away we go. All before more enemies show up. I don't know why I had the one gunner hit the med bay. We were basically right outside the bay. So, there we are. We have landed successfully. So, we rescued Joe Scott again. And the outhouse has returned. And everybody is now level 2 in their secondary jobs, which means the security officer now has access to focus fire. The comms officer and the Lopez, the gunner manning security, also now have access to shield replenish. And the pilot now has access to reactor boost, as does Yildiz, both engineers. And the comms officer does not get a secondary, does not get a skill at level 2. So there's that. Alright, so we again can transport more supplies, we can investigate more activity, we can investigate even more activity. Of course, investigate more phasmid activity has the same rewards as transport supplies, at least in terms of credits. I actually get more research for transferring the supplies. And of course, the standard eliminate champion and go looking for the probe. So there's all that. I also now have 3,625, so I should be able to now upgrade 2 weapons. Now, I'm tempted to just upgrade them all at once, but part of me thinks that's actually a bad idea. So I can upgrade 2 weapons, but I'm not quite certain which 2 weapons I want. If I'm upgrading the Porter starboard guns, then I want them both at the same level. But personally, I think the rear cannon sees more action because everybody seems to like sneaking up behind the ship. Whereas the front cannon would also probably see more action, just simply because it covers the ventral side, while as the aft cannon covers the dorsal side. But the front weapon spot isn't always manned, because that's the security officer's secondary job. So you know what? I shall upgrade the fore and aft weapons pods, just simply because they have, I believe, a greater field of fire. Again, it seems like a lot of the ships generally stay behind our vessel, and anybody coming up from above or below would have access to the, well, would be threatened by the heavier guns, whereas the port and starboard guns only seem to basically cover, well, a narrower cone, especially if you have, consider the engines, they can't fire directly behind the ship. I mean, there are plenty of times when I tagged fighters off in like the dorsal, I'm not certain why I'm wheeling the mouse over here, but the aft dorsal section, and you know, like the port gunners just like shooting off in this direction, whereas the enemy's like right here. So he completely misses. She completely misses. The gunner completely misses. So we'll do that, and next mission that we do, we'll see if we can get enough money to upgrade the remaining 2 guns to the Mark IIs as well, and then once everything's at Mark II multipod, then I'll consider going after the next champion or recovering comms probe, because you never know. The next champion could show up. What's his name again? Vorb Kib could show up on any one of these missions, and rather than fleeing, he stays and gets taken out, like Hupin Grant did. I had an option to eliminate him, but he died before I managed to run that mission. But all of that is another issue for another time, because I'm going to call it here.
Everybody stay safe from the plague and have a good day.